and then it's kind of like, and then it's like, I don't know. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Avern with Tea Reviewing 2, and today we are doing the top 10 favorites in the Pukka 2019 Christmas Advent Calendar. Let's see, Happy New Year first off. This is a second video of 2020. Exciting 2020 here on the channel, so make sure you subscribe. We got a couple of tea haul videos coming up, some reviews of some teas, of course, and then also of some tea accessories. It's just a lot going on, even some tea associated beauty and self-care products as well. Requests of some reviews and some things that were sent to me. Now this calendar had one tea bag for each day, and we'll go into the overview of what I thought about the overall calendar at the end of the video. But first, let's just jump right into it. We're gonna do honorable mentions and my top 10 from 10 to least favorite, but still like it, obviously it's on the list, to number 1 favorite in the calendar. And with the honorable mentions, first one I want to mention here in the Pukka calendar is Mint Refresh. Now this one led mostly by the licorice, and then there was some mild floral taste with it, and then the mint takes over, but not in a like super strong, boldly opening you up way, which sometimes, you know, I do like that sometimes. Sometimes it depends on where the mood I'm in, kind of. But for this one, it was kind of light, kind of mild, and then, you know, but overall, like none of the flavors were exceedingly strong. It's just that those flavors were present. So, you know, I like the mint and I like the floralness. Licorice, I'm not a super big fan of, but I'm also not against it. I like it when it's in its right place. You know, when it's in its right blend and it's not too abundant in its flavor profile, taking over from the other ingredients, then I like licorice. But we'll get into this later about licorice because, yeah, okay. All right, and next honorable mention is gonna be Turmeric Gold. Now this one, the turmeric flavor was just throughout with this tea. And then there's some grassiness that was brought on by some green tea. And then there's also this uplifting, like kind of brightness by the lemon. You know, when you add, you know, typically when you add lemon, like actual, like squeezing a lemon in, you know, your green tea, it does give you that kind of brightness, kind of lifts up that flavor of the green tea. It kind of enhances it in a sense, but not just like the green tea flavor itself, but it gives it that citrus like enhancement of sorts. I like the flavor of turmeric. I know turmeric is a very bold flavor. Even if you add a little bit of turmeric like to a food or something or to a drink, you could definitely taste it. Like it is there. I don't know if like anybody that has had turmeric and says, I don't know what turmeric tastes like, or I don't taste the turmeric. A little bit kind of mild overall with the flavors and everything. And that is it with the Turmeric Gold. Let's jump into the top 10. All right, and number 10, we have 3 Ginger. Now this one had multiple levels of spiciness, but it was not overly spicy, not anything like super tingly and anywhere in the nasal cavity or anything like that, or back of the throat, front of the throat, anything like that. But there was just a nice ginger flavors. You know, it had the spiciness of the ginger, and then it kind of had that calmness of the ginger, you know. And I didn't taste the turmeric much in this one, so it's possible, but it is possible that some of that spiciness that I did taste did come from the turmeric, because turmeric also does have spiciness to it as well. So this one, 3 Ginger, very interesting concept, having 3 different kind of galangan roots. And that's number 10, 3 Ginger. Now number 9, Black Currant Beauty. Now this blend was about an equal mix of tartness and sweetness. You know, it has some light floral notes throughout. It starts mellow and then it kind of brightens up and then it mellows back out. So it's like kind of unsure of what it wants to be in a sense, but it's there, you know, with the tartness, with the sweetness. And then it's kind of like, hey, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, I'm not sure of this, you know. So it's kind of, you know, not super confident in its taste and everything, but it's there, and it is there. So, you know, that is number 9, Black Currant Beauty. Now let's jump into number 8, Original Chai. Now, I did a full video review on this one. You can check out the links and everything. And with this one, it was a bold yet mellow chai. And I go over into that in more details in the video, so I won't drag it out too much here. But, you know, this one has some light spiciness and some light sweetness, along with some light but present, you know, black tea was there. So you know the black tea was there. You know, sometimes in the chai teas, you just taste the spices overall and everything. You don't even notice that there's black tea in there. Or sometimes vice versa. You just taste really black tea and the spiciness. This one had both, but neither one of them were very strong in a sense. So it's kind of a very mellow chai tea. And so with this one, it's an okay chai overall, I think. You know, overall, I like my chais typically more spicy. I like it, you know, I like it kind of tingling. I like to kind of give it a little salsa in my mouth, you know, with the spice. You know, so that's just typically how I like my chais. Nothing against anybody who doesn't like their chais like that, of course, anything. All subjective, but hey, it made number 8 on my list, so did like the mild chai in this sense. All right, and that's number 8, original chai. Now let's jump to number 7, revitalized. Now this one tastes somewhat like a grassy green tea at its base, and then there's some sweet cinnamon notes to it and some mint flavors as well. You know, and then there's some spiciness that goes throughout this one. It doesn't stand out in like a bold, like, hey, this is a spicy tea manner, you know, but it makes itself present at times. So it doesn't come at one time and then back away. It's kind of, you know, with each sip on this one, it was kind of, hey, a little spiciness. No, over here, a little spiciness, you know. But overall, it had that kind of grassy green tea taste to it. Kind of somewhat earthy, but more grassy than earthy in a sense. And then it had the sweet cinnamon and, you know, the mint flavors that were there is present as well. And that is number 7, revitalized. Now let's jump to number 6, Tulsi Clarity. And this one tasted like mint, black pepper, green tea, lemon, and some floralness all mixed together. Yeah, you not need to repeat that. Mint, black pepper, green tea, lemon, and some floralness. None of those flavors were really strong and stood out in a bold manner, but they were all present, you know, and they reminded me that they were present. It was like each sip was like, hey, there's some floralness to this. Next sip, hey, remember that lemon and mint? I'm back a little bit more this time. I was there with you in the last sip, but I'm there a little bit more now. You know, so it was a really good, like, overall blend of those ingredients, you know, sharing the space with each sip there. You know, this blend was also kind of grassy, kind of bitter, you know, but not too much in a bad way. I know a lot of people associate, you know, the bitterness of tea, you know, they just think of like, ugh, you know, like bitterness, but bitterness sometimes is a good thing. So bitterness, to me personally, sometimes I like a little bitterness in my tea. I mean, I'm not gonna say sometimes, I like some bitterness to my tea sometimes. Well, I did just say sometimes. I don't like bitterness all the time, and I mean that in a sense like really strong bitterness. Okay, yeah, no. Yeah, just, you know, unless that is what the tea is bringing you, and that's what I'm drinking it for, because I know this tea is a bitter tea, but I like it in this specific tea. Not every tea I want to drink, I want to taste a strong bitterness, but generally, in a sense, basically what I'm trying to say is, bitterness does not turn me off from a tea. Not abundance, like bitterness, just overall taking over the flavor from the earthiness or the mineralness or the smokiness of the tea or anything like that. No, but the light bitterness in the background, stuff like that, that's totally fine with me. So that is number 6, Tulsi Clarity. And let's jump into number 5, Lemongrass Ginger. And Lemongrass Ginger had a nice lemon flavor throughout. Not tart or sour, you know, not that pucker up kind of lemon taste. Just kind of a smooth, light citrus flavor to it. You know, and then there's also some hints of some spiciness and some sweetness in there. So, you know, it had the baseline lemon throughout it. And some sweetness and some, you know, spiciness also with the ginger in there. So it was like a blend of both. Not the lemon was more present than the ginger, I believe. That is number 5 with Lemongrass Ginger. And now number 4, Lean Matcha Green. Now this one had a nice smooth oolong, ginger, and fennel taste of this one. Those were the 3 main tastes that stood out to me on this one. None of them were really bold or strong, and I guess you kind of see that as a kind of reoccurring theme here. You know, a lot of these teas had several ingredients in them, and it seems like a lot of times they were fighting for the upfront first place, second place, third place, or something, you know, medal for the taste and everything. So with these, you know, those I guess would be the top 3 in this one, but like I said, none of them were super strong. I don't even know which one I would say would be in that 1, 2, 3 space. Probably for this one actually though, it was oolong, ginger, and fennel, but it wasn't like strong first place oolong, strong second place ginger, anything like that. You know, but they're all smooth and they're all present there. And then there's this light turmeric taste in the background, which was nice. Like I said, I like turmeric. And then there's only 2% of matcha in this one. And I know that could be possibly because, you know, the way matcha is cultivated, the way it's made and everything, you know, grounded up in the stone and everything like that, 2% of it is different than 2% of typical just green tea leaves, you know, or something like that, or black tea leaves, white tea leaves, anything like that. 2% of matcha is going to be yielding a different taste in a sense than 2% of a green tea leaf or something like that. It's gonna be more bold with the matcha because of the way it's, you know, ground up and everything. It's more potent like that. So with this one, you know, but I didn't taste the matcha much in this one, and just kind of lightly in the background. Maybe that's why it's called lean matcha green. I don't know if it was associated with some kind of, you know, metabolism effects. I mean, I know tea is great for metabolism, can be used, you know, for weight loss and things like that. But this one, you know, oolong, the ginger, the fennel, main taste, lean matcha was in the background hanging out. But it was overall nice flavors, you know. I like oolong, I like ginger. Fennel, I'm not anti-fennel. I like fennel in a sense. It's got some sweetness to it and whatnot. So it was there as well, it was nice. And like I said, turmeric was there as well, like that. So that's number 4, lean matcha green. Number 3, wild apple and cinnamon. And this one tasted mostly of cinnamon with some spiciness up front from that cinnamon and some sweetness. And there's some light fruity and floral notes going on as well in this one, you know, from the apple, and then the floral notes is there. And then you have the aftertaste that was sweet as well, but not like overly sweet. Like I wouldn't say this is a sweet tea in a sense, but it was sweet tea in a sense because I typically don't, you know, add any kind of sweetener or anything to my teas or anything. But this one would be like, I guess if somebody added a little sugar or something to their tea. So it had that sweetness throughout, and then that aftertaste that kind of laid down on your tongue with some sweetness as well. You know, mostly had the cinnamon and the spiciness stuff. I really like the cinnamon in this one. It was a nice cinnamon, and I like that blend of the cinnamon with the little floralness and then with the fruity notes with the apple and everything. So I thought that was a nice kind of combination there, you know, cinnamon apple. Obviously it's a good combination of seed and, you know, baked goods and different things like that, pies or whatnot. It goes well together. When it goes well together, it goes well together. And in this tea, it went very well together. And that is number 3, wild apple and cinnamon. Now, number 2, supreme matcha green. And now this one I did a video review on, so check that out. And this one, like I said in the video, is a bold green tea. And so it smells and tastes very vegetal, very earthy, had a slight mineral taste to it, not harsh in a sense. So like I said in the video, Blair, so like not like a multivitamin, you know, those chewable chalky ones that you really taste the minerals and everything in. Not like that, but a light mineral taste to it. You know, a very earthy green tea overall with this one. This one, and it takes you through a journey, you know, with the taste of the green tea and literally like with the ingredients where they're from in this green tea. I go over in the video exactly, you know, the areas where these teas were from and everything, but it takes you through a journey through different countries with this green tea right here. So yeah, supreme matcha green is a bold green tea. If you like green tea, check this one out. It's gonna take you on it's gonna take you on a green tea journey. So yeah, that is supreme matcha green at number 2. Number 1, the suspense. I need a drink. I need some tea. Look at that. Isn't tea just wonderful? Just eases you, you know? Number 1, Wonder Berry Green. Now this one had refreshing mint notes, a fruity taste, and a flavor of elderberries in it. Well, it was leading the way. The elderberries were leading the way in that area, and then you had the bit of grassiness from the green tea. All the flavors in this tea just complemented each other very well. I mean, with this tea, you had just the flavors were just high-fiving each other, like, bam, your turn, your turn. No, let's come together on this one. All right, you can take over, you take over. Let's come together. Sweetness from the elderberries, mint notes, the fruitiness of the elderberries led the way, like I said, and then you had the green tea there. It just worked very well in a sense. Like this one had that nice blend of like, hey, I'm an herbal tea, but hey, I'm also a green tea. This is a herbal green tea. You know, a lot of times, sometimes with herbal green teas, you'll have like the tea that's there the most, you know, the green tea is there the most, and that's fine, you know, and then sometimes you have the herbal notes and everything, or the fruit notes that are there taking over, and hey, that's fine if you're in the mood for that as well. This one had a complete blend of both, and it just worked well. You know, you have those fruity herbal teas that just work well, you're like, you taste both, and it's good. Then you have those ones that work well together, you taste both, and it's really good. You know, you're like, wow, this is a great combination of flavors right here, and that's what I thought about Wonder Berry Green. It's a nice blend of an herbal, fruity kind of green tea. Just worked very well together. That would be one that I would definitely would buy again. And there's some on this list I would buy again, you know, bigger packs, or some of them got smaller packs. Let me taste it a little bit more. Wonder Berry Green is one of them that, yeah, bigger pack I would buy. And that is it, folks, with the top 10 favorites in the 2019 Pukka Advent calendar. Now, before we end the video, I just want to go over the calendar in general. This calendar, I like that there were some teas in this that I wouldn't typically buy, or, you know, in a sense, like, you know, 3 fennel, or, you know, the 3 chamomile, maybe I could see myself maybe buying something like that. But there's just certain ones on here that I would like not necessarily buy a whole packet of. So that's one thing I like about these advent calendars, is that you can take some tea blends that you wouldn't typically go for. You wouldn't typically get pulled to them to, you know, buy a whole pack of it, to make that kind of commitment. To make that kind of commitment to buying a whole, you know, loose leaf tin or canister, or you know, tea bag, or you know what I mean. Like, you wouldn't typically make that commitment to buy that kind of tea in a bigger bulk kind of, you know, selections. So, you know, with this tea calendar, licorice. Let's talk about licorice. Licorice was pretty much, I almost want to say every tea. Maybe not every tea, but definitely most of the teas in this advent calendar had licorice root in them. Sometimes I like licorice root just fine. You know, I see it in the blend and I'm thinking, maybe we'll see about this. You know, sometimes if it's towards the beginning of the ingredient list, I'm like, oh gosh, the licorice really is gonna take over on this one. And I'm not like anti-licorice, where I'll see a tea blend of maybe a couple of the flavors I like, some other ingredients that I like or something like that, and I won't buy because of licorice, you know. But I'm also not like looking actively for teas with licorice. So this one though, this tea calendar had several teas with licorice in it. Sometimes, honestly, it was okay, it was fine, and sometimes it helped in a sense with some sweetness and everything to a tea that typically wouldn't have the sweetness to it. And then sometimes it hurt. Not like hurt physically, but it hurt, no, not like hurt physically, but like it hurt the flavor profile that I think the tea was trying to bring out, you know. And some of these, obviously, licorice was supposed to be in the leading forefront. You know, you had 3 licorice on here. Obviously, yeah, you're going to definitely want to taste some licorice in there. But with some of these, you know, blends, the licorice took over in a way where it's like, if it was more in the background or not in it at all, the tea blend would have been benefited from that. It would have been even better, you know, whatnot. And so, and then some of them, like I say, licorice helped being that subtle kind of sweetness, unique flavor in the background, while the other flavors pretty much kind of take over in a sense. So, you know, licorice does have its health benefits as well. But also fennel seeds. Fennel played a role in this calendar as well. So in a sense, like if you don't like licorice, you didn't like fennel, this would be a calendar you probably would not like. There will only be like a few, 5 or 8 on here that you wouldn't be able to taste the licorice or fennel too strongly that would turn you off from it. But the rest of them, it would be there somewhere that you would know it's there, and you might be like, oh man, this tea would have been great. I'm not going to finish it. There's the licorice, there's the fennel, something like that. So that's one thing that I definitely took away from this calendar. I like Pukka because of their commitment to being organic, being fair trade, non-GMO, and that's all awesome right there. I really like that. I like their commitment to that, and that's awesome. So I commit them on that. Commit them on bringing together a calendar with some different flavor notes. I went through this one pretty much every day. You know, I would have, towards the end, I got a little behind a little bit, but every day I would, you know, take the sachet, take the pack, and that's what I would have for tea for that day, along with other teas that have more than 1 cup a day. And I posted every day with this one on my Instagram, like a picture of the tea, picture of the inside of the tea bag, the ingredients and everything. And I put those up in this video so you can see the ones that made my top 10 in my honorable mentions in there. You know, you saw those during the video. If you want to see the other ones, make sure you check out my Instagram. It's Tea Reviewing 2. And that is it for my top 10 favorite teas and the Pukka 2019 Advent Christmas calendar. Looking forward to seeing what they do this year, later on this year. I was gonna say next year, but we're in 2020. Looking forward to see what they're gonna do ahead later on this year with the 2020 Advent Christmas calendar. But until then, we're gonna keep enjoying all kind of other teas. You all have an awesome day. Happy New Year. Take care.